Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today, once again, we're discussing the swiveling screen mount kit. This is the Atlas mount, pitch adjustable and swiveling left and right. Specifically, we are discussing, yes, you guessed it, the plastic shroud for the back. So let's dig into it. All right, so today I wanted to discuss with you guys what I've been dealing with in getting this plastic cover to market. I've had so many questions about it, and it's been a very difficult process. The main reason is the screen mounts, both the left-right swiveling screen mount kit and the Atlas mount that's installed here in my car, were never intended, they were never designed to be covered with a multi-piece plastic cover. They were designed to just be wrapped with that fabric covering. Now, the fabric covering worked fine for the early screen mounts that only pitch adjusted about, or angle adjusted about that far. It was fine, but then I increased the amount of throw, and now it pitch adjusts besides. And so what has ended up happening is that padded shroud in the back, it bunches, and there's a couple gaps at the extremes of movement. And so on popular request, several months back, I began working on a multi-piece plastic cover for the back. So that cover, it's multiple pieces are required. Basically, you need a top portion that attaches to the dashboard, a lower portion that attaches to the back of the screen. Then you need an attachment point to mount the cabin temp sensors. There's the early Model 3s, and then the Model Y and later Model 3s use a different temp sensor. So you have to have a mount that is that works for both. Just turned to night here. So it's a little bit on the complex side to make a cover that can hide everything. So to that end, this is where we are. This is the portion that plugs into the dashboard, and there's a portion that mounts to the back of the screen. That would be this part. Now this one happens to be gray, just because we were experimenting with different colors of plastic, trying to find, you know, different shades of plastic and that. But this is the shape of the part that mounts to the back of the screen. And then this is the temp sensor mount plate that mounts to the underside of this part that goes in the dash. You mount the temp sensor here, and then this part gets attached underneath. So these are the parts that we currently have that we are making for this, that are done. They're designed and ready to go. Now, those cover the majority of the screen. However, there are portions that are still exposed, and let me show you a video of that. So you can see from the passenger side here, if I aim it at the screen, you can see the way that the plastic shroud covers the top as well as covers the back of the screen. But there is, you can see a couple of aluminum components there. So let's see if I can get in a little bit closer there. From the passenger seat, there is their view of the screen, and so you can see that they can't see it. You actually have to, there's the passenger's headrest view looking forward, and then you would actually have to lean, the screen is leaned all the way toward the driver. You actually have to lean pretty far forward to see behind it, and that is what you would see, is that plastic cover. So as you can see by that video, the top of the screen is hidden, the top of the mount is hidden, the bottom of the mount is hidden, but there's an area in the middle there that the metal parts are still exposed. And I've been trying to figure a way to cover that. The way the cheap Chinese knockoff mounts do it is they have a bunch of little pieces of plastic that adhesive and stick to the metal parts to kind of hide it. But actually, once you put those pieces of plastic on, a lot of people don't realize that, you kind of can't remove the mount. You have to rip those plastic things off to do any work to it. I'm not going to go that route. But also, there's not enough clearance. The way that my mount is machined, we wanted it to be nice and solid, strong. And due to that effort of making it solid and strong, there's really no clearance to put a lot of pieces of plastic in there to hide that. So to that end, this is where we are. The mount, or the cover, is otherwise done. These 3 primary components are finished. They're production ready. I can start printing them and ship them. But only if the passenger looks all the way around, they can see some of those the metal components in there. And I've had a mixed opinion. I've had a lot of people look at that. The majority of people say, you know what? I think it looks fine. The fact that you can see a little bit of metal in there is totally fine. I've had a couple of people say, I'd rather have it be all black. Well, the other option is I can have all of the aluminum parts anodized black. Now, that wasn't an option recently, or up until recently, because all the anodizing shops are very, very far away. I'm talking an 1.5 hour drive, and I would have to individually wrap every aluminum part, pack them in a box, ship them all down there. Then they would have to unpack them, anodize them, pack them back up and ship them here, or I'd have to drive an 1.5 hours each way, 3-hour round trip to drop them off, and a 3-hour round trip to pick them up. It became very unwieldy to do. Also, the particular shops that are near me weren't doing anything related to UV protection. With anodizing, if you anodize a part black and you put it in the sun, the UV light turns the black into almost like a bluish gray hue. Well, there are methods of anodizing that eliminate that as an issue, but that wasn't available locally until recently. Well, the machine shop that does the machining of my aluminum parts, they do, up until recently, they were doing the bulk of the machining, and there were a couple finished steps that I would do here in my shop. So they couldn't anodize parts and then ship them to me because I had to do some finishing work. Well, we figured a way how to avoid that finishing work by changing their process to eliminate a couple of machining steps while finishing the parts, and actually to a better quality. So now it looks like we have the potential of the machine shop doing these extra finishing steps, anodizing the parts near them, and then shipping them to me. And what that would do is it would make all of the aluminum components for the mount black. So now you'd have the black top cover, the black back cover, and black aluminum parts. So when you look back there, it's just all nice and black. That would add a little bit of cost to the kit. I think over time I could absorb that, but at least on the front end, it would add probably $10 to each kit in manufacturing cost. And believe it or not, there's not a huge amount of profit in these things. So, you know, that's kind of where we're at with it. So what I want to know, I want your opinion. Do you think it looks fine as it is in back there? With the metal parts being seen just in the center area? If so, wonderful, let's move forward. If not, if you'd rather see them all black, there'll be a little bit of an additional delay while we arrange anodizing for those anodized parts. So let me know your thoughts on this. Is it okay to leave those bare aluminum parts as they are? Or would you guys prefer that it all gets anodized black? Also, this cover will fit all previous Atlas mounts and the later left-right swiveling mount kits. However, there's no way to anodize those parts because the steel threaded stud that's threaded in is red Loctited and you can't remove it, and you cannot anodize a part, an aluminum part, once there's a steel part that's been installed into it. So anyway, so that's where we're at. All the mounts could be retrofittable with this, all the later mounts, but again, you would see the aluminum parts there. So are you guys okay with that? If so, I can go ahead and start producing these covers and get those out to whoever wants them, and for all new Atlas mount orders that are shipping. If you want them black, then that will be an additional delay and there'll be a small additional cost. So that's where we're at with it. I know you guys have been concerned as to why it's taking so long. I get about 3 emails a day on it, but that's where we're at. So let me know in the comments section below what your opinion is. Do you want me to go ahead and push for anodizing, or are you fine with Seeing a little bit of metal back there. I actually prefer it. I'm a technical person. My wife said, she goes, I like the way it looks. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and we'll move forward based on that. All right, so here's some close-up views of the cover as we have it. Now these are 3D printed, and we have the print resolution set at just fast printing speed because we're trying to get through prototyping. So we can definitely clean up the surface finish. We've also been trying different materials, but this gives you an idea of the shape. So this is the part that would go into the dash, and this is the portion that you would see right here. The rest of this is tucked behind the dash, so you would just see this portion. So that's that component there. And what keys into that is this part here. This is the cabin temp sensor mount plate, and the Model Y or new version Model 3 temp sensor mounts there. The old style Model 3 temp sensor mounts there. This plate keys into the bottom of the dash cover like so, and is held on with a couple screws on each side. And this is invisible on the bottom side, so it's tucked up underneath. This section would require remaining open because of mechanical clearance, but you cannot see that unless you have your head under the wheel, in the footwell, looking up at it. So that's the top that you would see at the dash, and this is the portion that mounts to the back of the screen, and that's the orientation that you would see it in the car. So this part covers everything, hides everything on the screen, but allows the wire to pass through and a little bit of clearance for the mount itself. So the cover kit would consist of these three components, and a little bit of an update. This video was shot a few days after the previous one, the previous portion of this video, and I have since had quite a few conversations with my machinist. He is taking a couple of mounts to a local anodizing shop near him. They have UV resistant coatings that they're using now. They said they can even do their best to match the shade of black that we're using to make sure it's as close as possible. And it looks like it's not going to be quite as cumbersome a situation to get that done. But the next question then becomes reverse compatibility. All these cover components will fit on the previous Atlas mounts, and they should be able to fit on the previous swiveling mounts, assuming you have the latest version swiveling mount. And but you would see that aluminum. And I've had a couple people ask, well, would it be possible to ship me back the aluminum parts, have them anodized, or find a place near you? The answer is no, and the reason is anodizing can only be done with the base material present, which would be aluminum. There is a stud that's threaded into the aluminum part, the main aluminum pivoting component on the Atlas mount, and it's red Loctited in. You cannot anodize that unless you can get that stud out, which would be quite a lot of work. So for reverse compatibility reasons, those that currently have a mount with the silver metal parts, you would see your silver parts exposed. But moving forward, should you guys opt for this, we can go ahead and anodize the parts black, or we can leave them silver. So I want to know what your thoughts are on that. And I think that's it for me for today. I appreciate you guys tuning in and putting up with this. I have to tell you, I get emails pretty much every single day. I think I average about 3 emails a day asking about this cover and where we're at with it, mainly because, I mean, there's 1,100 mounts out there. I think 800 Atlas mounts, 700 or 800 Atlas mounts that are out there, and some people have told me they prefer the padded fabric covering, but enough people have said that they want a plastic cover that we needed to go ahead with it. It's just, we had quite a few delays in this. I've been working on this for 7 months, I think now, primarily because of exactly what I was mentioning earlier, that the mount was never designed to be completely hidden unless it was wrapped. So there's really, we came up with these components pretty early on, but trying to get those last few metal parts covered has been what's delaying us. And that's why I wanted to bring this to your attention and see what you guys think. So that's it for me for today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sure you guys will have questions. Leave them in the comments section below. Thanks, guys. Have a good day now.